5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the 2020 presidential election, my hometown of Detroit and the state of Michigan as a whole was subject to outlandish claims of voter fraud that were, unsurprisingly, all proven to be false. As a result, dozens of so-called voter rights bills have been introduced in our state legislature seeking to suppress the right to vote of many of my constituents. Unfortunately, several states across the country has also followed that thread, even when there's case after case showing that there was no voter fraud, saying that they needed to protect the vote, and we still don't know what they're protecting it against. Resulting in the department filing lawsuits to protect the right to vote. Attorney General, my colleagues and I in the Congressional Black Caucus recently sent you a letter urging the Department of Justice to do whatever is necessary to ensure that every American has their right to vote and have their vote counted regardless of where they live. How will the president's budget empower you to do that?
I think the right to vote is the fundamental pillar of American democracy. Every qualified American should be able to vote, and we should do everything we possibly can to ensure that right can be exercised. The Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department is the unit responsible since the late 50s for ensuring the right to vote. We have asked for a more than 32% increase for the Civil Rights Division. I personally, from the very start, committed to doubling the size of the voting rights section, partly because we had lost the ability under Section 5 to pre-clear potentially discriminatory changes in voting practices and procedures. We have doubled the voting rights section, but we now need more money for the Civil Rights Division to do that. The specific request for the Civil Rights Division will increase the number of lawyers in the division and analysts in the division, and particularly including in the voting rights section.
Thank you. I am I'm the founder and co-chair of the Black Jewish Relations Caucus in Congress. I'm very active in addressing and trying to find ways to protect Americans from hate crimes. Last year, our caucus requested a briefing from the Department and FBI on the latest finding of hate crime statistics. Like many of my colleagues, I'm extremely concerned about the alarming rate of increase in hate crimes. How will the department leverage relationships with other federal, state, and local non-government agencies to address and combat the rise in hate crimes, and what steps can be taken to encourage enhanced relationships between the local and federal government as we continue our fight to protect Americans?
On the federal side, just for a moment before I get to the state side, we are asking for more money, of course, for the Civil Rights Division and for the FBI's Civil Rights Unit to pursue these crimes. The FBI has elevated hate crimes and into the and civil rights violations into the top band of concern. Again, one of the very first things I did when I came to the Justice Department, because we saw the rise in hate crimes, was to review what the department was doing, and then launch a hate crime initiative, which coincided with the passage of the hate crime bill in that year, that summer. I appointed the head of the criminal section of the Civil Rights Division to be the coordinator in charge of the criminal investigations, and a woman in the Associate's office to be the department's overall coordinator with respect to hate crimes. Now, the particular topic you asked about, which is the way in which we can engage state and local law enforcement and communities, we've in the budget request, we've asked for $20 million in OJP grants, which is an increase of $8.1 million in additional resources. This money would, among other things, go to state, local law enforcement and community organizations for investigation and prosecution. We do need more outreach to the community. One of the problems with respect to hate crimes is sometimes people are afraid or otherwise unwilling to report hate crimes. So we have to improve reporting. One way to do that is through state hotlines, and some of this money can be used in that way.
Thank you so much. And we really need to pay attention to that. And reporting is an issue. I yield back my time.